Now, the start of this video is going to be very awkward. But there's a reason why I just did that. Do you remember that? A point in time in your life when you had no thoughts whizzing around on your mind. Point in time where you won't think of like test dates, assignments that you have to hand in. Point in time when you weren't thinking about, okay, am I going to get into this college? Am I going to get a job now? Am I going to, I don't know, get married one day? How am I going to find all the money for X, Y, and Z? Do you remember that? I think every now and then it is almost advisable to soak into that nostalgia for a bit. Whilst I do admit it is my purpose to direct you onto a path where you're always pushing to achieve, I do think you need to take a moment sometime to just relax and almost go back to the way you were as a child. Whether that be, in your case, playing some video games for a bit or getting on your bicycle and going for like a ride around the block. Something that you used to do as a child, doing every now and then might not be a bad idea. Now, I know what probably went through your mind because this sort of thought has also gone through my mind. Wait, if I do that, am I going to lose all my progress on development? Not quite. If you go back to those habits that like take video games as an example, if you go back to that and now that's all you do for the rest of the day and you keep doing that on like weeks and months on it, then you of course you are going to lose some progress. But if you do it now for an hour or 2 hours, just to sink back into some peaceful thoughts, it's actually going to boost your development rather than bring it down. Because what's happening at the moment is, and I've been here many times, in fact, I've only got this part of my development right in the past week, literally past week. But what happens when you keep pushing? You get brain fog, you get overwhelmed, you get fatigued, you get stressed, you get basically all of these negative emotions that prevents you from performing at your maximum. But now if you do things to sink into this like more carefree side of yourself, you're giving yourself an opportunity to unwind, but also rejuvenate your mind. Now, here's the thing. You probably see a lot of young men around your age who are depressed. And it is true that depression is largely, or at least in our age group, coming from this lack of drive that a lot of young men have. So a lot of young men, they think that, or thought at least, that success was defined by how cool you looked at school or how many girls you could pick up in the bar, in the club, those sort of things. But the same guys who then believed that and went down that path, they found short-term happiness. In a few months they were happy. But after that few months, they found themselves in a rut, depressed, suicidal, all of those things. With me now as an example, I found that the periods in my life where I wasn't pursuing anything, I felt depressed. But then there's the other side to the coin. Recently, I spoke about this in a recent video. I had a period of around about a week, maybe actually it was just under 2 weeks, it was over a week actually, where I was pushing just way too hard. I mean, it happens sometimes, it happens to all of us, where you push a bit too hard. And the result of that is I had the same suicidal thoughts that I used to have. So you need to find the balance. And look, at the start of the video I was talking about how sinking back into childhood is the easiest way to do this. But you can also find other ways. I mean, of course, as an adult, our hobbies change. But my overall message that I want to get across to you here is rather that essentially you shouldn't be worried that you're losing progress by taking some time off, because chances are you're actually going to gain progress. I mean, look at it. I had to take, I can't remember, bro, like 4 or 5 days, which might not sound like much, but where I just didn't work out because I could feel my body was fatigued. I was overtraining all of that. And if you look at it, I mean, I'm not the biggest guy in the world or anything like that, and I never will be. But if you remember my videos from like a few months back when I used to like show my biceps and those sort of things, I have made progress. And if you can see it in the physical sense like I have, why wouldn't I apply mentally as well? I hope this brings some sort of clarity and guidance for you, bro. I really hope it does. But with that said, bro, I'll see you in the next one to become a better man.